So, ladies and gentlemen, as we enter the 2020 semifinals, everybody's in good humor, I think. Election in New Brunswick, pandemic across the world, BC being shut down. We must be in good humor. But let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to give you a story of someone who was not in good humor when he broke in to the expansion Washington Capitals as a pickup for the Philadelphia Flyers. Michel Belhumeur, or good humor as we say in English, from Sorel, Quebec, probably had the worst consecutive 2 seasons in the history of modern pro hockey. He was a highly regarded draft pick by the Flyers in the 1969 amateur draft, taken 40th overall. He got some seasoning with Charlotte, Quebec, Richmond, and broke in with the Philadelphia Flyers and that semifinal team against the Montreal Canadiens. Actually, he played one game in the playoffs against Montreal. He ended the season with a 9-7-3 record. Went back to the minors with Richmond Robins, left unprotected. The Washington Capitals took him in the expansion draft. Now, we did a previous podcast on Ron Lowe, only winning 8 games for Washington that season, 5 point something, goals against average. Not as bad as this, ladies and gentlemen. Belhumeur started 35 games for Washington. This is the good news. He got 2 assists on the season. Not too bad. Guess what his record was, ladies and gentlemen? Well, I'll give you a hint. He's got a 5.36 goals against average. 0-24-3. He holds the modern day record for being the only goalie in the show or major leagues to not win a game in the regular season if they played more than 25 games. But here's a laugher, ladies and gentlemen. That didn't put him off the Washington lineup. He went back to the Richmond Robins the next season, but was called up for certain seasons. He got an under assist. He's third of his career. But in 7 games in 76, he went 0-5-1. The average was a little bit better, 5.09, as compared to 5.36. So, ladies and gentlemen, in 42 games, 29 losses, no victories, 4 ties. A board would do better. He could probably save a few. We talked about before on Saturday night's Hockey Night in Canada, where Washington games against Montreal were never shown because it was always a blowout. Could have been 17-2, 15-2. If they lost 10-2, it was a victory. They would usually play Ron Lowe, because Ron Lowe used to play for the Maple Leafs. He had some hometown fans that watch Hockey Night in Canada, Atlantic Provinces. But Belhumeur wasn't a bad goalie. He was just part of a really bad team. You don't go from a 9-7-3 regular season record with the Flyers. But see, Bernie Prom was coming back, so there was no room for him. That's why he was sent back out in the minors. He almost went to 6 games against Montreal in the playoffs. But this guy, when his last name is good humor, and he's losing and losing and losing, what is he going to say to his family and friends? How'd the game go? Well, we only lost 7-1. Yeah, I know it's better. You lost like 9-3 last week. So, if you ever are down as a sports athlete, just remember this. Michel Belhumeur, or good humor, was being paid $45,000 over 2 seasons. That's what I heard his salary was, to lose every game he played or not win. So he got paid for losing. He eventually never made it back to the NHL, and he ended up with actually one of the newer leagues, the NEHL, with Utica Mohawks and the Jersey Hampton Aces. But one of my media reps said he had met Belhumeur years after he played with Washington. He asked him directly. He said, what do you think about losing all those games? And he said, well, I was in the NHL. I was getting paid. So we talk about Bull Durham being in the show. You're playing only 10 games. It's not like Rick Knickel, where he got called up and played back up to the Kings with Gretzky in the Stanley Cup Finals and back up to Rooney. Like I said, the ironic part, his name was Good Humor. Michel, good name for a Quebecer from Sorel. Sorel's a nice community. But losing and losing and losing and losing. And the thing is, if you're a goalie from Quebec, you're expected to win. Look at Patrick Roy. Look at all these good francophone goalies. But woulda, shoulda, coulda. Maybe the parallel universe, Washington made the playoffs in 75, knocked off the Leafs, and he played the Flyers or whatever. But we'll never know how bad he was because 50% of the games were not broadcast. Back in the day, Washington didn't have a full, like a Fox, Maryland or Washington network. I can imagine, ladies and gentlemen, if you're the hometown announcer trying to talk to Belhumeur after the game in a tie. So you're still winless in 25 straight games. How do you feel? I mean, he probably can't even speak English, so. Anyway, thanks for listening. Give me a like, comment, or subscribe. And keep in good humor, because you never know when you'll not win a game and get paid for it over 2 seasons in the NHL. Bye.